Breaking: Supreme Court lifts limits on ICE raids in Los Angeles. And if you thought today was going to be business as usual in Los Angeles, think again. The Supreme Court just dropped a 6-3 decision that could bring sweeping ICE raids roaring back to the streets of LA. Yes, you heard that right. Raids that were on pause are suddenly greenlit again. If you blink, you might just miss how fast this all unfolds. The case centers on the Trump administration's push to ramp up immigration enforcement. Supporters are calling this ruling a win for safety and law and order. The Department of Homeland Security wasted no time celebrating, saying agents will move forward to arrest and deport what they describe as violent offenders, people accused of crimes ranging from gang activity to much worse. Their message: California won't be a safe harbor for those breaking immigration laws. Now, let's talk about how this will actually play out. Border Patrol agents and ICE officers are trained to consider a list of factors: where someone works, how they present themselves, even the language they speak, when deciding whether to make an arrest. Officials say these are legitimate tools, not guesswork. And they stress that every move has to hold up in court, since defense attorneys often challenge whether stops and arrests are constitutional. Still, critics see a much darker picture. They argue this ruling could lead to racial profiling, targeting people based on nothing more than their appearance or the fact they're speaking Spanish. You might remember Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass celebrating back in August when a lower court blocked these raids. She said, and I quote, "You can't just snatch people off the streets based on appearance." Well, that victory lap just hit a Supreme Court roadblock. For context, Los Angeles is home to nearly 20 million residents, and federal estimates suggest about 2 million of them are undocumented. That's why LA has been a top target for enforcement. In fact, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, writing for the majority, pointed directly to that number in explaining why DHS must be able to fully enforce the law. His opinion boiled down to this: Congress passed the laws, DHS has to enforce them, and court orders shouldn't tie their hands. On the other side, Justices Kagan and Jackson delivered a fiery dissent. They warned that America shouldn't become a place where people risk detention simply because they look Latino, speak Spanish, or work low-wage jobs. Their bottom line? They see this ruling as a slippery slope for constitutional freedoms. So what happens next? Well, if June is any preview, it could get busy quickly. Back then, enforcement sweeps were happening regularly across Los Angeles. But since July, after the lower court hit pause, things have been noticeably quieter. Now, with the pause lifted, agents may be gearing up fast. One officer even texted a reporter, "Fire up the engines, we're coming back." That doesn't exactly sound like a slow rollout, does it? Supporters say this ruling lets law enforcement finally do the job they were trained for. Critics warn it opens the door to abuse. And for millions of people in Southern California, it may mean bracing for ICE raids that could resume at any moment. So, whether you're cheering the decision or dreading what comes next, one thing's clear: you'll want to keep watching closely. Because in Los Angeles, things just got a lot more unpredictable, and the Supreme Court has officially put ICE back in the driver's seat.